All right, everyone. Welcome to a digital marketing Q&A hosted by yours truly, Gabriel from Lapras. I am the founder, CEO of this company. Just would like to start off by saying huge thank you to Alex and the Florida Broward Real Estate Networking Group that's allowing me the opportunity to present here. Essentially, what I'd like to do, well, just to give you a little background about me, I'm my day job, as like what I like to tell people, is I'm a world-class entrepreneur, investor, and advisor. I own 4 companies today. Uh, and now I'll talk, especially what we're going to be talking about today is one of the fields of expertise that I specialize in, which is digital advertising. So anything that falls under the realm of digital advertising is our specialty in the company I started 18 months ago called Lapras. So Lapras is a world-class advertising company specially designed to rapidly grow brands. And essentially, we partner with both businesses and individuals. And the majority of the time, they partner with us because they want to drive results for their brand, uh, for things such as acquiring new clients, generating high quality leads, increasing their brand awareness, separating themselves from the competition, improving the internal processes of the brand so that it's expedited, it's more valuable, and you provide a positive user experience amongst other things. So we really drive a multitude of different goals for the company. For the brand, really is what we refer to it as, because everyone has a brand, whether or not you nurture it, whether or not you realize it, whether or not you're investing in it. So today, again, I would just like to open up the discussion for like the format is more like a digital marketing Q&A. So you can ask your questions and it's an opportunity for me to provide you with like really one-on-one tailored advice based on the situation that you're going through. Typically, we charge thousands of dollars for, we call them strategy sessions, which essentially it's consultations that's personalized for you, where we can give you strategy and sometimes advice, different things. Sometimes it's tactics based on what you're going through. But so yeah, it's just an opportunity to kind of pick my brain and see how I can provide you with any solutions to what your current problems, challenges, desires that you're facing. So if you would just like to raise your hand one at a time, this is, you don't have to worry about but I just ask that you be respectful and just go one at a time, and then I'll just pick people as I see them on my screen. So essentially, what I specialize in is anything that falls under digital marketing. So SEO, website design, e-commerce, digital business cards, online reputation management, email marketing, text message marketing, lead generation, native advertising, Facebook ads, Google ads, video marketing, content marketing, inbound marketing, outbound marketing. I know also about different things. I most likely provide you, point you in the right direction if you're asking things outside of digital marketing. But as far as like service wise, we only do digital marketing. So floor is open for anyone to ask any questions. David Baumwald, I see you raise your hand. Please ask me your question.
Yeah, I'm a realtor here in Fort Lauderdale, and I specialize in a particular zip code. Um, it's east of Federal, and it's in Hollywood. What I'm curious of is, I know, for instance, a lot of people try to reach me. I get a lot of voicemails. I get a lot of potential spam on my phone. I get a lot of emails, and I would say 99% of them, I click and erase them before they even get a chance to speak, because that's just what I think most people do. They're so sick of spam today, and they get a lot of spam. I get potential. It's just, the phone says potential spam on your phone, so you don't even bother listening to them. How do you get around people like myself that simply don't want to hear that stuff? I don't want to know about business loans for my business. I get 7 or 8 calls of that every single day. Um, how do I reach out to the people in my neighborhood without being obnoxious, without finding a dead stop hand in my face that says, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you. You're advertising. You're trying to sell me something, and I don't want it." I think that's the biggest objection most people have. They think you're out there just selling them something, and they may need it, they may not need it, but they don't even want to listen to you about it. How do you get around that?
How do you get around the phone screening is the question?
How do you get around? How do you get to people in your neighborhood? And just my little particular neighborhood, like, these are all my neighbors. How do I reach out to my neighbors effectively and let them know, "Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm working in your neighborhood. I'm exclusively in this neighborhood"? How do I do that without being the obnoxious guy that, bangs on their door or leaves them a pamphlet every 2 weeks in their mailbox, or tries to call them via the phone? It's just, this media marketing is become so outrageous and just so outlandish that it's just, people don't even want to hear it anymore. A couple of years ago, I would answer my phone all the time. Now I almost never answer my phone unless I know who it is. And I think everyone here can agree that that's been happening to most of us. How do you reach those people in your neighborhood and do it in a polite, nice way where you can actually get your foot in the door?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is a thank you for the question, David. It's not, an intensely unique, an intensely complex situation. Essentially, but it does have a few parts. The first one is getting noticed, right, in the right location. So it's generating awareness, which is essentially the first step in the funnel. By the way, before I actually even get into that, what I would say is remove any guilt that you have around promoting to people. Remove any guilt that you have around sending marketing, making sales, all that stuff. A lot of the stuff like we have is just, society's programmed us in a certain way, but it's a fixed mindset. It's a scarcity mindset that people have. Like I do, if you've ever looked at my social media, I promote a lot of stuff. Like there's times where I post 5 times in an hour on Facebook. In 1 hour, I posted 7 times. It's crazy. And people are like, oh, some people are like, that's too much. Like, I don't understand it. I'm like, well, that's because, you're not going to produce the same results I am at the level I am with the at the thing I am, because I'm coming out harder than you. Like the best way I can explain this is I was playing basketball with my mentor one time, and he looked over to me and he told me, he's like, imagine that you want to be the best athlete in the world. And I told him, okay. And he said, now imagine that you're going to the basketball court and you're putting in 3 hours of work every single day, right? You're putting in, free throws, 3-pointers, layups, you're dribbling, you're doing the passes, everything. And he says, that's good and all, but what you want to keep in mind is that someone somewhere in the world is putting in 4 hours every single day. And when you meet them on the basketball court, they will beat you. So when it comes to things like that, a lot of people are guilt tripped around making money, but I think that's the wrong approach. I think it's healthy to make money. We live on an economic planet, and if you want to have access to things, you need money, you need economy, finance. So the first thing I would say is get over because that's part of the psychology. And if your psychology is messed up, then the physical actions that you take are going to also be tainted because of that psychology. So I would say, get rid of that first. Next thing is the easy part, which it comes down into the tactical stuff, which is essentially, number one, how do I get in front of these people? Number two, what offer do I promote in front of them? The offer, it's a kind of a two-part thing. So there's 3 things that I see. The first thing is, how do I get in front of these people in a relevant way? The second thing is, what message/offer do I put in front of them that entices them? And then number 3, how do I get people that are interested to raise their hand and actually want to take action on that? So it comes down to the call to action. So the first thing I would say, when it comes to awareness, it's the first part of any good advertising campaign, doesn't matter whether it's online or virtual or anything. It's reverse engineering the ideal client. You need to know your ideal client. Like you know your ideal client very well when you can write a day in their diary. Until you can write a day in your client's diary, you do not know them well enough. So when you know them that well, you'll be able to understand how they live their day. So, these guys wake up at 7 a.m. First thing they do is they look at social media, then they go to the bathroom, and then they have their morning coffee, which is Folgers. And then on the way to work in the car, they're listening to NPR. And when they finally get to work, the first thing they do is they talk to your assistant and they ask about the sales for the day. Like, you got to get that granular. And when you understand that level of detail about your ideal client, then you can identify which platforms they're investing the majority of their time. So if your ideal client is residential homeowners that are living in Broward, probably the majority of them, if we're just talking generalizations, the majority of them are probably spending time on Facebook and Google. The best platform for you depends really on the type on your brand. Okay, so there's essentially different ways that you can promote it. There's 2 main general ways. There's you can do a brand or you can do a commodity. A brand is when you are let's start with the commodity because that's usually easier. So Jeff Bezos' Amazon is a commodity. Right, he's competing on price all the time. If you're selling a product for $3.05, he's coming at it with $3.03, and he has machines and algorithms and teams and millions of dollars invested in doing that. So that's a commodity where you're always competing on price. Brands do not compete on price; they compete on value. So it's one of the worst ways, in my opinion. I think competing on price is one of the worst ways to compete because you're always diminishing your margins. So when it comes to the reason I bring this up is because it's important with respect to congruency, which is one of the most important words in marketing, as to how you come out on the platform. So when you identify your ideal client, you know which platforms are using most. If we're taking generalization approach, they're probably spending time on Facebook and Google, and then there's subcategories on that. But if we're talking specifically about generating awareness, these are the best platforms to get started. So if we're on Google, if we're on Facebook, what's going to happen is it's a completely different ballgame. So when people are on Facebook, they're there to meet friends and socialize and have a good time. They're not looking to purchase stuff. Very few people have the psychology when they're on Facebook to purchase stuff. So the best thing you can do is provide them with value. In other words, provide them with a free report talking about the market trends that's happening in that zip code, and then promote that to people locally on Facebook. And then it's free. And then what's going to happen is that in order for them to get that report, what they have to do is provide you with their contact information. So you're exchanging value, right? But what you're doing is you're reducing the amount of risk for them, because if you're going out there making a sale, they have to invest their money, and people have to, when they get money, they have to invest their time. So, it's kind of like that old saying goes in the good book. I refer to the Bible as a good book. It says, show me where your treasure is and I'll know where your heart is. Right. So people, where they put their money is where what they value things. So if you're offering something, if you're making a sale on Facebook, it has to be something that's very, like the value has to be higher, because they're risking their money and they don't know you that well. So the best thing to do is just to give them something for free. My mentor once told me the best way to get a customer is give them something for free. So, offer them something for free on Facebook, target people in the local area, and then offer them like free market reports every single week based on what's happening in the zip code, and then advertise that local area. That's how you build awareness. So we'll stick with that Facebook example. If we're going another level deeper, where it's offer and message, what we call it is customer message resonance. Now we're on the second part. So the first part is getting noticed. We talked about targeting on Facebook, doing advertising, and now it's the second thing, where it's putting the offer and the right message in front of them. We call it at Lapras customer message resonance. It's when your customer resonates with your message. At that point, what you want to do is, it's pretty simple. When you reverse engineer your ideal client, you know what their psychology is and you know what they're looking for. So you can include that in your message and make it relevant. So you say, are you looking to sell your house within 6 months? Right? Do you want to generate, or would you like to sell your property for a 30% markup or something? Would you like to find interested buyers in your local area right now? Like, obviously some of these are cliche because I haven't done the research, but you guys get the point. It's just putting the right offer in front of them with the right message, and then they'll want to chip in. And then after that, it's just about optimizing the campaign moving forward. So that's one way. I hope that clears up your question. I do want to take other questions, but there's a lot of moving parts to that. So essentially, it's generating the awareness, getting in front of them, using the right platform, putting an offer in front of them, and then convincing them to take action. Hope that wasn't too long-winded. What other questions?
Gabriel, great stuff.
Thank you.
Really great.
We could talk about, like, if you do Google's different. So like if you do Facebook, you would want to do like the free offer. If you're doing it on Google, you can go for the direct sale. You just have to target the right keywords. Obviously you don't want to, if you target the right keywords, then you can go for the sale directly, and you could be like, look, just fill out this form, and we'll start talking. Like we'll sign you up, we'll schedule a call, whatever it is. You could ask them about how many times they've been at the house, like basic information that you guys collect for that. So Google's a little bit different. So you can do more direct selling on Google if you target the right keywords. But again, it all depends on where they are in the buyer cycle. On Facebook, it's more of a branding approach, just because the psychology is different. Yes, Alex.
Gabriel, I do some networking with attorneys groups, and some of the attorneys, I think the younger ones, have suggested creating an internet persona across different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where literally you're just going to talk about yourself and your life. And I guess in an effort to have people feel like they get to know you, and therefore, because of that, want to do business with you. To me, that seems a little bit squishy for a lawyer, but what are your thoughts about creating an online persona as a method of generating business?
I always say, a lot of people, you probably heard this before. Great question. Thank you, Alex. A lot of people, you probably heard this before. When it comes to like content, a lot of people say content is king. Content is king. A lot of people say that. I say, if content is king, then context is God, right? It always depends on the context of what you're talking about. So I can take myself as an example, because I'm someone that really believes in the power of leveraging a personal brand. So for me, if you go to my Instagram, if you go to my Facebook, sometimes even my LinkedIn, you'll find that I'm posting stuff related to me going to play basketball on Saturdays, Saturday morning basketball, how I go for my morning jogs at 4 a.m., how, I read a book a day and I post the book that I'm reading. I do all these different things, right? So, and essentially it doesn't have to do with work, but here's the best advice I'll give you. The punchline is do 80% business and 20% personal. 80% business, 20% personal. The reason is because not everyone, again, when they're on these platforms, the majority of people are not there to buy stuff. When people are on social media, they want to be inspired, they want to be entertained, they want to be educated. Those are three main reasons why people are there. And they're also there to connect with their family, their friends, etc. So that, and they want to share their lives. If you think about it, social media is a very egotistical tool because it's all about us. So that's why people are there, because they want to relate. But so when it comes to business, you do want to obviously talk about the business, because that's how you drive the results. But at the same time, you want them to be able to connect with you, because at the end of the day, the thing that's on the other side of that mobile device is another human being, and you never want to forget that. Doesn't matter whether you work in real estate, whether you run ads for a living, or whether you do cold calling, it's always another human being. So, as human beings, we're relational creatures. So, that 20%, that's where people can, I say 20% if you're like an introvert, right? If you're an extrovert, this should come easier to you. I'm an introvert, right? So I don't talk about my personal life that much. And there's a lot of haters on social media. So that's another reason why I don't do it, at least for me. But anyway, the reason is, that 20% allows people to connect with you relationally, and then 80% like you're driving results and stuff. And it's a little bit less charged, because sometimes if you talk about charged topics, like there is such a thing as bad PR. Don't get it twisted. There is such a thing as bad marketing and getting bad attention. But I would say, I mean, it depends on the context, right? Like I would say be genuine. Being genuine is the best thing to do. Like if people think that you're doing it because you're just trying to be the number one real estate agent, like they'll probably give you like less attention. But if you're doing it because you're like, look, I want to get famous, I want to get known, like I want to, like if you're up, like I say that all the time. I literally say I'm the greatest on my social media. And like people are like, this guy's crazy, but they know my intention, right? And they know that I'm being honest, and they know that I'm doing it because I literally want to be number one. And as long as you're authentic with people, they're just like, okay, like that's what his ambition is, and they can't really call you out because you've already put it out there. But it definitely does work. It can work. It's just under the right context. Hope that answered your question. All right, over to David Pollock.
Gabriel, so my question is this. Some of us are older and challenged by the social media world.
Yes.
If I was going to spend money, what would the 3 best platforms be, or how would you advise me or anybody else on this call that's looking to develop their business? What would the 3 platforms be, and what type of cost do you feel would be associated to each one?
Okay, we're looking for a mortgage loan officer business. That's right. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the type of result that we're trying to drive is mainly we're trying to generate leads.
To generate I'd rather generate realtors that will then give me multiple deals, not just one person, but I am looking at doing it the other way where I get clients. Yeah. Clients
and realtors. Okay. And then you answered that question, which the ideal client is clients that are ready that want to actually sign up for your services, and they're realtors. So we're looking at 2 things. Okay. And then the question is, what is the best platform and what does the strategy look like? Okay, let me think about it. So I mean, LinkedIn is definitely the first place that I would go to. However, what you want to keep in mind with LinkedIn is that it's going to be a really organic approach. So what I mean by, so the opposite of organic is paid. Okay, so paid advertising is like PPC marketing or Google Ads, when you pay per advertising, right? You pay per click and stuff. The organic marketing is when you do it like you post it and stuff. You do it for free. It's like content and stuff. It's not free because it's your sweat equity, but it's not financially required. So the first thing I would say is strategy number 1, because you asked for 3 platforms. I would say LinkedIn primarily to target the realtors. You want to develop a presence as here's the nuance. Okay, this is what you want to avoid. You don't want to position yourself as someone who's a direct competitor to them. What you want to position yourself is as someone who's a guide for them, right? A guide is someone that can help them to reach their goal. A competitor is something that's standing in the way of their goal. So if you position yourself as a guide, that means that you're providing them with resources. So for example, if we're taking the California Gold Rush, you're not a miner, you're someone that's selling shovels, right? So to them, so that's what you're doing when it comes to the realtors on LinkedIn. So you're selling shovels to these guys so that they can get their job done. That might come in the form of a networking event for realtors. That might come in the form of PDFs and ebooks. It might come in the form of a membership site, whatever. There's different ways of doing that. Essentially, that would be one strategy. I would say the platform, the strategy to execute on that platform to get realtors specifically. I would just say inbound marketing. It would be the strategy that I would recommend. It's called inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is when you create content that pulls attention. It's the opposite of what David Baumfield said. So what many of us experience and what we have a bad connotation with when it comes to advertising is called interruption marketing. So it's interruption marketing is like when you're on YouTube and then that annoying ad pops up that you're like, get the hell out of my face, I'm never gonna buy your product. I feel that same way too, don't worry. So we don't run those type of ads for our clients. We avoid those, and what we prefer is we do it the inbound approach. So what happens with inbound is that people will find you when they want to find you. And that's how that works. So that's the approach that I would promote on LinkedIn. I would promote content that when people look for those keywords, I pop up number one when it's relevant to them, not when I want it to, right? Because they might be thinking about something else. Maybe her wife just like had a baby, and he's like, the last thing he's thinking, but there you are, in your fancy suit, and it's like it doesn't mix well with them, it doesn't blend well. So essentially, that strategy, if you hire someone like me to consistently promote content on LinkedIn, with in addition to having like a landing page, a funnel, a follow-up system, it would start maybe like around $1,500 a month. Little cheaper. Like I would be wary of anyone charging you less than $1,000 a month to do that, because it probably shows that they're not an expert and they're not providing you with the full scope of things. Because you not only do you need to promote content, but you need to have a funnel so that you're generating leads, and then you have a follow-up system where you're following up with them with emails and text messages and things. So you want to make sure you have the full scope of things, and no good expert will ever do that for less than $1,200. So I would say roughly around $1,500. So that would be platform number one. Platform number two is more designed toward, I would say, is Google Ads. I would definitely say it's for how fast do you want to do it? Like as fast as possible, right? So I would say Google Ads. And the reason I say Google Ads, now we're talking about targeting like the actual customers in your local area. So that would be the ideal platform for that. Reason being that you can target by zip code. You can be specific. You can use negative keywords, which in other words, you are, so for example, if we're looking for a mortgage loan officer, we can put keywords that people are putting with the intention of making a purchase. So in other words, like, don't take this keyword for like literally, but it's almost like, mortgage loan officer book an appointment, right? Like they're ready to already like schedule that appointment with you, right? And then we can block out keywords like mortgage loan mortgage loan for free, right? Because we're not looking for free people. We're looking for people that want to buy, or like, like things like that. So the point is to look for keywords that have the intention of generating leads. And so that one's pretty straightforward. Same process. I would say again, another around $1,500 so that would charge you about $1,500 for the fee for the person that's managing it for you. Okay, some people do this for cheaper. Again, you could kind of get away with it, like around $1,000 again. Less than $1,000 again, I'm a little skeptical, especially for Google Ads. So around $1,500 a month for the fee for the person that's managing it. In addition to that, you also have to cover the advertising budget. So a recommended advertising budget for Google Ads would be minimum, and I'm literally taking like only the meat on the bones, $1,500. Ideally, $3,000 a month. So minimum, if you're putting in the retainer fee in addition to the advertising budget, we're looking at $3,000 a month minimum. Like that's like you're trying to drive like the minimum type of results. If you want like quality results, like you're generating leads consistently, we're looking at $4,500 for $3,000 for the advertising budget, and then $1,500 for the person that's doing it. And that's to generate the clients that will sign up for your services. That's platform number two. Platform number three, I would say run Facebook ads. And this will speak to both demographics. It would speak to the realtors, and it will also speak to the actual client. Facebook is a hybrid. It's like the best of all the different social media platforms in one, and it's very effective. Zuck knows what he's doing. I disagree with many of his philosophies, but when it comes to Facebook, he got that thing right. So the thing with, all right, so here's the difference. LinkedIn is like the professional networking tool. That's how you can think of it in your head. Google is like the engine of business. The engine of business. Like that's a very powerful, it's gonna be a very profitable engine for your business. If we look at Facebook, Facebook is the highly targeted engine of a business, because Facebook has a more targeted platform, and you can get down to, I could literally target HR executives live in Virginia that work in companies that have less than 25 employees that are making less than $100,000. And they have a bachelor's degree that graduated in arts history. Like I can get that specific, and they've been married, they have 2 kids, like they're like that stuff. They've been married less than a year. I can get as specific as that. You can target even one person on Facebook if you really know them well. The challenge with that is, I mean, that would be the ideal outcome for a marketer, because imagine that you go on Facebook and it says, hey, Lilia, do you want to buy ads? Like you would be like, holy crap, like it's talking to me, right? But like it's incredibly difficult to get that specific as a marketer because it requires more attention. But Facebook ads would be the platform because it's highly targeted. You would be able to acquire both the realtors and the clients. Same kind of deal as other ones. However, there's nuances to each platform, but it's kind of like the similar framework. That would cost you about $2,000 a month for the person that's managing it. Around there, $2,000 to $2,500. Like if you're the higher, the better. If you're working with someone that charges you $2,500 a month, you're dealing with an expert for Facebook ads, because Facebook ads is more complex than Google. So I would say $2,000 to $2,500 for the person managing it. For the actual advertising budget, I wouldn't recommend anything less than another 2,500. Ideally 3,000 and above for Facebook ads. So, and by the way, the timeline that you can expect to get a return on your investment and ROI for Google and for Facebook, if you're running ads, would be around 45 days. If you do with a company like Lapras, because we do 15 days for research where we design the funnels, we do set up the tracking systems and everything, and then we do 30 days of consistent advertising. But in order for you to in order for an advertiser to get really drive the best results possible, you want to do it for at least 3 months, because in the beginning, like the first 30 days, I'm very upfront with people, and I say, look, we're testing, right? Like I'm not going to come in here and expect to know everything. Like I have to test a little bit. So but we've gotten to a point where we can still generate, if not break even, generate a profit for you within the first 45 days. So that's our goal within the first 45 days, make a profit, get you in the green. And then from there, it's just a matter of scaling the businesses, the campaigns that have already been profitable, and then, continuing to find what we call blue swans, white swans, whatever. It's a different way of looking at things, but it's just profitable campaigns. So that's kind of like what I would say. If someone is telling you it takes like 90 days to get a return on investment, and you're doing Google ads, run away, because they're not serious. Like they don't know what they're doing. Like 45 days is a good time frame. If it's 60 days, they're okay. Like they're medium, we do it in 45. So like 90 days is too long. So that's what I would say. With LinkedIn, because you're doing inbound, it can even take you up to it will take you a while. It'll take you closer to 3 months. So you begin to generate ROI. But there's no advertising budget on that. So those are the 3 platforms I would recommend. Yeah, Lilia.
My situation is I am a active real estate broker in the Philippines and here in the US. So that's why I don't really go out promoting myself, because I'm in 2 countries. And my assistant in the Philippines is the one posting my listings in the Philippines, which I only in Facebook. I don't have any budget, but I only pay my assistant. So
Right.
What would be the best if I'm gonna start here in the US to promote myself, saying that, hey, I'm here in the US now? But I don't wanna also scare my other clients that they will say, oh, Lilia is not in the Philippines. I don't want her services.
Like
That's
to establish yourself as an authority, right? Like I am the real estate investor. You can contact
Yes.
me for your needs and stuff. Okay. That's a good question. Who's the ideal client again? Who are we? What you work with? You said mainly commercial.
Yes, in the Philippines, I am established. I mean, because I've been there for a while, so I don't really have to put out myself, because I belong to the Philippine Association of Real Estate Board for a while, And
But you're
it's
targeting
like-
commercial in the US, right? You're targeting commercial
Yes.
real estate. And
because
then,
in the
okay.
Philippines, we don't have, it's general. We're all jack of all trade, residential and commercials. There's no, but
And we're
here I
doing-
want to be
We're doing nationwide or in Florida?
Florida only.
Okay, so that's
Because
easier.
I am trying to study a specific market, here in the US. That's why I cannot.
You want to know a really good strategy
Mhm.
that would really blow you up to get started with that? Work with influencers. That would be an amazing thing for you. So if you were to because the thing in the beginning, it takes time, right?
I know.
If you're doing it organic and you're trying to build 10,000 followers on Instagram, it's going to take you time. If you're not running ads, that's your strategy, expect to post a lot, to show up every day, to answer comments. That's literally the work that you would have to do it that way. However, if you partner, this is what I would recommend to fast track it. Within 60 days or less, you have over 1,000 people following you on Instagram. You're that go-to, people are starting to know you, you're getting likes on your stuff. This is what I would recommend, literally verbatim. I would recommend opening up a Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn account, right? Minimum, you can kind of you can hedge a little bit. If it seems like too much, then I would stick to one of them, right? I would do Instagram because it's very popular and it works very well with influencers. However, I know that you're kind of leaning toward LinkedIn, so that might be the route for you. Yeah, if you can do more, it's going to be better for you, right? So if you can do all 3, I would do all 3. If you have to sacrifice, I would say go with LinkedIn first, and then go to Instagram number 2, and then Facebook number 3. That would be the recommended order. And then what I would do is I would open up an account on there, and I would post 2 or 3, maybe 3 to 5 videos, right? It doesn't have to be the same day. It could be every now and then, but 3 to 5 videos and have it be valuable content. And we could discuss value because value is a different topic in and of itself. But I would say like 3 to 5 videos on that platform minimum, right? If it's LinkedIn, it's easier for you because you could have different things. And then what I would do from there is I would either hire someone like myself, or if you would like to do this manually, what it would require is reaching out to a ton of influencers. Essentially, the big challenge with working with influencers is negotiating, right? Coming up with a good deal that works for both parties. So that's the challenge with, and it's also finding them, right? And then getting them to do the freaking work, because sometimes they'll scam you, and it's just part of the game. When you work with influencers, but when it comes with influencers specifically, what I would do is I would find people that have a large following that includes my target market, right? And we're talking, and then you can select the bigger the following that person has with your target market, the more expensive they are, obviously. So it's not the same to hire someone that's 10,000 followers or someone that has 1 million. So I would find a sweet spot. I mean, for you, it's well worth the investment to find someone at least that has a 500,000 following, and they'll charge you maybe like $100, 100 something, a little bit more, like 100 to $300, 300 if they're on the expense of it, right? So to do a post and a shout out, and what will happen is that they'll shout you out as someone that they've worked with you. Sometimes they'll even go as far, like they'll do multiple shout outs, but what they'll do is like, they'll even take a video with you. Like you guys can meet in person, be like, I'm with Lydia. They'll fly out to you. Like these guys do this for a living. So they'll be like, I'm with Lydia right now. She's such an amazing commercial real estate agent. Like she really, she helped me do this and this. And you gotta have to contact her. So this is a way to like instantly start, like generating a ton of traffic. If that doesn't seem feasible for you, if it seems like there's a lot of moving parts and you kind of want to do this a simpler way, like a cost-effective way, I would do the same thing, but instead of doing it with an influencer, I would replace it with my clients, and I would do each video as a case study. In other words, like those real estate agents, every time that they sell a home, I would record a video with my client. Tell me how you feel right now. You just bought this house, right? And then I would record like a 1 to 3 minute video. Tell me how you feel. I feel amazing. Like, Lydia helped me find the perfect house, or she got me the best deal. Like she got me, such and such a return on my investment. And then that like the best thing that you can do is let your customers speak for themselves.
So
Like,
you can do it. Your company can do it for me because I don't have time to do all those things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How much would that be? The budget?
Which one? The influencer or the case study videos?
No, just to start to be noticed here.
So generating a little bit like social media.
Because my style now is, as you see, we met in another networking, so I have a regular group that I've been attending. Not in fact, I already cutting out a lot because I'm busy, but I'm not productive. You know what I mean? Essentially,
Okay.
I know that's how I have to start to let people know that I am in this space, and I don't have any client yet. I have nothing to show. So basically, if I have done that in the Philippines, I could probably ask the past clients that I've served to go video, but they're past. What I need something here in the US, because in the Philippines I can ask those clients, but it's in the past. As I said, I don't need to promote myself in the Philippines because I'm already popular there, and I can close even if I'm here. I just need somebody to do my paperwork and to do the showings of the property, because basically I'm here. But with all the paperwork, they can consult with me, anything. And I still close the deal there. But the problem is when I convert the money here, it shrink to 50, because $1 is to 50 pesos. Even if I earn 100,000 a month there or 200,000, and it convert to US dollar that I'm spending here, it's really very small.
Yeah, so you're essentially looking for 2 people. So like you're looking to hire 2 people. One of them is like someone like myself or my company, where we bring the people. We can even go, like, we will do as much as it is within our power to make it as simple as possible for you. Like the last thing we want to do is add more work to you. We want to take away from it. However, there's some things that like we can't, like for example, we can't go and do the physical showing as much as we would like to do that. So what we can do is we can set up the forms, we can collect the information, we can put it in front of the people, we can generate the leads, we'll do all of that stuff. But essentially the second part would be an assistant. So that's just a little thing I noticed. However, I have three recommendations for you to drive to essentially, get deals is what you're looking for. You're looking to get more deals. So the first thing I would do, the most recommended option that I would do it, so you start to build a presence in Florida as a real estate commercial agent or the real estate commercial investor. So people start to notice you, is run Facebook ads, run Facebook ads with a combination of like content marketing. We can do that. Like we get very creative with stuff. So sometimes you'll like for $2,000 a month, we'll run Facebook ads, and then we'll also do viral video marketing and content management for you. So it's kind of like a bundle where we're running ads, but we're also going viral organically, and we're managing your content. That would be my first recommendation. But again, Lapras is a very unique company. So not every company you find it, most of the companies you find are not going to be willing to do that. They'll charge you at least like $4,000 plus, $4,500 more, just because it's a lot of different stuff. We'll charge you maybe two and a half. Plus advertising budget though, and then they'll charge you advertising on top of that. So it'll be like, for them it's like $7 grand. For us it'll be a little bit less. That's not affordable for everyone. The second thing I would do is I would say a reduced, like a scaled down version of that. In other words, promoting content and going viral. It's again, so it's a little bit without the ads. We know how to go viral. So I literally know how to make, I've had videos go to 10,000, and I'm not even trying, in a couple of hours, over 10,000 views, tens of thousands of views. So we know how to do that easily. Like I could do it in my sleep. So that would be the second recommendation for that. That would cost you, if it's only management and going viral and stuff, we're looking at like $1,500 a month, which isn't that expensive if you think about it, because it's like 30 days of advertising. However, in order for you to get noticed and really build a following, it'll probably take you around 3 months. Okay, like 3 months for that.
But remember, our target are like distressed sellers or those that to get the listings. So our target is really to target divorcee, to target pre-foreclosure properties.
With Facebook ads,
like
with the first option, you'll make a return on your investment between 45 to 60 days. You'll make a return on your investment with the first option. With the second option, I wouldn't expect, you may get it because like things can happen. It's not a miracle either. Like it can happen, but I would recommend that you wait 60 to 90 days to expect a return on your investment for the second option.
So I have to budget. So if we go under contract with you, it has to be like a month to month or a whole year, or
we do month to month with no contracts.
A budget. I want to have a budget that, that I have to set aside. As I told you, I'm starting here, but I have to pull my income from the Philippines here, which really is very small.
Yeah,
So what do you
if you
charge?
if you do it like, if you like the second option, like where you're going viral and stuff, like does that sound like more appealing to you, or does the first one sound more appealing, like the Facebook ads?
Maybe with just a Facebook ads, because at Facebook I know already the effect, because as I told you,
Okay, so you
my
want the
assistant just post the listing. I don't even pay Facebook ads or anything. I know the effect of Facebook.
All right, if you want regular Facebook ads, in other words, we're just running ads for you and we're doing funnels, we're not even tracking and stuff, $2 grand a month plus advertising budget, and you'll get a return
What happened?
on your investment 45 to 60 days. Okay, so $2 grand plus advertising budget, so we're looking at $5,000 a month, and you'll make a return on your investment for between 45 to 60 days. With the first 15 days, we take that, we put that, like we eat that. So that doesn't come out of your pocket. We meet you halfway, and we put the 14 days on our 15 days. The 30, and then we give you the 30 days of advertising. So that would cover the first 45 days, which we might make a return. However, I would stick around 45 to 60 days. I know we're running out of time. So I would say, yeah, if you want regular Facebook ads, $2 grand plus a $3,000 advertising budget. If you want the more powerful, where you're doing Facebook ads and doing viral, we can do a deal where we're looking at like maybe 25. Plus the advertising budget, which will stay the same. So it's an extra $500 only, is what I would say. I feel like we're definitely over Alex's time. So thank you for the questions.
All right,
But at least
everybody.
people, you benefit with my question, right? I'm sure it's everybody
so
will
Lilia, feel
benefit.
free to contact Gabriel outside of the meeting. We do try to end the meeting on
He's
time.
gonna charge me if it's outside the meeting already. I'm just joking. I know, Gabriel.
Right, so
If
we
you
try
would
to end
like
the
to
meeting on time so people can budget their day. So
Yes.
everyone, thank you for coming, especially the first timers. Hannah, please don't forget to save the chat before you leave.
Yeah, I already sent it in.
Thank you. And the link is the same every week. Feel free to share it with a friend. We're here to network, so the more people at the meeting, the more networking we get done. So thank you, everybody. You all make the meeting.